Does anybody else hear all the background noise? I'm not sure. I'm not sure you really want that showing up on the live feed.
Yes, I am hearing background.
Yeah, I think it's actually Catherine, but as soon as she starts talking, it stops.
Okay. So
we're now live on YouTube.
Okay, so I will call the meeting to order. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I start with the agenda, I would just like to introduce somebody to the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee as a new member. Ray Whitfield is in the process of being appointed to fill a vacancy on the committee, which that will be finalized by County Council on September the 26th. But in the meantime, I would like to say welcome, Ray. Ray Whitfield lives in Owen Sound. Prior to retiring, he was a life coach and worked at Newcom International in customer service. Ray has had experience as a volunteer in the community and is familiar with parliamentary procedure. Ray is looking forward to being involved in the Accessibility Advisory Committee, and I would like to welcome you, Ray. Oh, you're muted.
Yes, well, I'll just say thank you, and I'm looking forward to contributing to the committee.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to your contributions. Thank you. So I'll start off with the first item on the agenda, and that is declarations of interest. Does anyone have any declarations of interest? No, doesn't look like it. And our next item on the agenda, is under delegations. Martin Strathoff from the Ontario Farmland Trust.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I think you might be looking at the Agricultural Advisory Committee agenda from earlier today, if memory serves me correctly.
Oh.
I don't believe I should have a delegation on today's agenda.
Okay, I don't know what happened to my agenda then. Is it possible to post it? Share screen?
So the agenda is up on the website. You would like me to display it, and I can absolutely do that for you.
Yes, I don't know why I have that agenda.
That's all right. There was two meetings today.
Somebody else printed it for me, so that's why.
No, there was two meetings. Ag was this morning, and then this afternoon is accessibility, just to make life interesting. I will display this for a brief moment, Madam Chair, and then if it's easier for you, I am happy to kind of walk us through things.
Okay.
Today, just to kind of, is that coming through okay?
Yes, it is. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, see, I definitely do not have that agenda.
So there's just two reports on the agenda for today. One from our Transportation Services Committee or Transportation Services Department here at the county, and then another from clerks with Kathy Nuno, and some items of correspondence, but we can get to those. If you're feeling comfortable with the agenda today, Madam Chair, I'm very happy to read the motions out as we come to them.
Okay.
And then I might just also add, I just took a screenshot of it and I sent it to you, Catherine, in an email.
Yes, I've got it here.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. I had somebody else print it off for me this morning off the calendar, and they obviously got the wrong meeting, so I apologize for that. Okay, so let's start off with the first item for direction or discussion, and that would be the TRJAAC-30-24 Gray Road 1 and 14th Street intersection, reconstruction Owen Sound, and that would be Sean Potter, but we will I'll have Sarah read the motion first, if you don't mind, Sarah.
Through you, Madam Chair, the motion in connection with this report is that report TRJAAC-30-24 regarding Gray Road 1 and 14th Street West intersection reconstruction in Owen Sound be received, and that the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee provide review and comment on the proposed design of the intersection, including design and placement of the sidewalk rest areas, if needed.
Okay, can I have somebody move the motion?
I can, it's Brooke.
Okay, Brooke, and a seconder. Andrea, thank you. And I will hand this over to Sean Potter.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Perfect. Okay. This report requests feedback from the Joint Advisory Committee on the proposed design of the intersection at Gray Road 1 and 14th Street West in Owen Sound. Gray Road 1 is 2nd Avenue West in Owen Sound. The design is not yet finalized as this discussion has not taken place yet. Basically what's happening is all of the signalized portion of the intersection is being replaced. None of the road dynamics are changing. So the lanes are staying the way that they're going to be, or have been forever. But the underground conduits that hold the wires that connect everything together have collapsed and has actually created shorts in it. So every once in a while, the signal just goes dead. And we've had our maintenance staff go out there quite a few times, and we've had police out there once at least directing traffic. So in replacing the underground infrastructure that services the traffic signals and the current pedestrian signal heads, we are obligated by OREG 19111 to upgrade it to a audible pedestrian signal system, and so that all of our egresses and access points are also compliant with that regulation. We've been doing this so much now because this regulation has actually been around for a little while that what we're doing is actually just the standard to what you would do at an intersection, which is why the recommendation or motion on the floor mostly is to talk about the rest stops. I'm happy to go over the design. It is captioned lower in the report if we'd like to bring that up to talk about. But I believe that we are doing everything that we should be doing in compliance with the regulation. Ray?
Yes. What do you classify as the rest stops? Is that just where you stand while you're waiting for the light to turn?
Actually, to be perfectly fair through you, Chair, my understanding is that a rest stop is an actual location where you can stop within a pathway or walkway. So it would be like a bench. A lot of them are designed now specifically for all users, but in particular, they're accessibility compliant in that they either have breaks in them or separate pads that elongate the sidewalk so that a wheelchair could get into or a mobility device could get into those locations. Kathy?
Thanks. Just to expand on that a little bit, part of the thing that the legislation is looking for is there a need for a rest stop? So I think that's the part to think about here is if there is a need, what should it look like?
Well, there's the bus stop in front of 225 that is an enclosure, I believe. And that should be adequate.
Is there any further discussion on that point?
Well, I lived over there for 5 years and running back and forth with my power wheelchair. Uh, I found no issues with that intersection.
Great.
Do we have any other comments or questions for Sean?
It looks like Jacob may have raised his hand.
Okay. Yes, Jacob. Oh, you're muted, Jacob.
Sorry. I'm having troubles picturing where this intersection is.
Are you a resident in the city?
Yeah, I'm in Owen Sound, but I'm not really familiar. I'm fairly new, not
Okay. Just the references are a little different if you know all the local landmarks. So this intersection has the Legion on one corner and Ted and Grace's on the other. It is one block off of where the medical building is, the Owen Sound Medical Health Team building, to the west on 14th Street.
and so it's that intersection. I don't remember seeing any benches in that intersection currently.
There aren't any other than the previously mentioned bus stop that's to the west of the intersection.
To give my personal opinion, I think one on each side could be beneficial, only because I do see that bus stop usually isn't really well maintained, and people are scared to sit in that bus stop because of the garbage and whatnot. So I think for mobility reasons, I know a lot of people in the high-rise apartment close by have mobility issues, so it would really be beneficial to have seating for them waiting for the bus and stuff, or crossing the road for that matter.
To be clear, would that be required on each side of the road, on each leg of the intersection? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
Well, I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead, Andrew.
What about a garbage can cut for garbage? Because people like guide dogs, like, which for me I assume will be, is because people need a place to put their garbage. I wonder if that was in the works or not.
That is a little. Go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, I was going to say it's kind of outside of the scope of this project, but through the minutes of this meeting, the representatives that are in the city of Owen Sound, and I believe it would be the city of Owen Sound that would have jurisdiction over the garbage can placement. So they will get copies of these minutes, and hopefully that will be enough to spur a further conversation there. Otherwise, I'd say maybe reach out to the city of Owen Sound about that. But if you prefer, Andrew, I could follow up on that if you want.
Well, it was back in 2016 that I moved out of there, out of the high rise. So I don't know the situation, except that at that time that building was getting a little sketchy for drugs and stuff like that. So I don't know what's in that shelter.
Okay, Andrew, are you okay with what
Yes.
Kathy was suggesting?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ray, for your comments. Does anybody have any other questions or concerns for Sean? I don't see any other hands up. Okay, thank you, Sean. We greatly appreciate it, your presentation. And can we all in favor of the motion? Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank
The
you for
next
having me.
item on the, oh, sorry. Okay. The next item on the agenda is CCR-JAAC-17-24 Multi-Year Accessibility Plan Progress Update 2023 for 2024. And Kathy will be presenting that, but I will have Sarah first read the motion.
For you, Madam Chair, the motion in connection with this item is that report CCR-JAAC-17-24 Multi-Year Accessibility Plan Progress Update for 2023-2024 be endorsed as presented and posted to the accessibility page of the Grey County website, and that the 2023 to 2027 multi-year accessibility plan be updated to add implementation of budget software that meets ADOA compliance.
Okay, and can I have someone move the motion? Jacob, and can I have a seconder? Christina.
I can.
Thank you. All right, I'll hand it over to Kathy. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Chair. So accessibility legislation requires municipalities to report annually on the progress made of the measures taken to implement the goals in the multi-year accessibility plan. So the multi-year accessibility plan is linked at the bottom of this report, and this report gives an overview of the progress we've made toward achieving those goals, both last year and so far this year. Areas that are covered are in procurement, which is purchasing. The purchasing department at Grey County is going to require that any documents that are submitted through a request for proposal or a request for quote that is going to be a public document. For example, it would be a consultant's report, that those documents as submitted be accessible. We have made moves toward finding and connecting with stakeholders, and information has gone out to folks that have signed up for the accessibility information newsletters. We've done some improving wayfinding signage at the administration building. We're working on a project currently that isn't underway yet, but I'm anticipating before the end of the year, so I have it in this report, a little software program called Access E11, which is going to streamline our feedback with the public. We have moved to an eScribe software program for reports and minutes on the Grey County website. And while we don't have a corporate style guide officially at the moment, Sarah has done a lot of work and put together a wonderful program that has been rolled out to so far just one department on making documents accessible and using styles and making sure that their plain language is used, and working toward just making sure that our communications through our documents are done in a better way. We've made an update to the conventional transit accessibility plan, which hadn't been updated since COVID, so there were a lot of changes there. We're doing some work with the Age Friendly Committee, and that committee's work really dovetails well with this committee's work. So you'll be probably seeing some more things with that. I know Catherine's participating in that. And we'll try to make sure that we do information sharing really well on that, so we can capture everybody's thoughts and maybe we can work on some projects together. This committee has been requested for feedback on 3 different projects for the Grey County Trails system to improve accessibility. We've added an adult change table at the Sydenham campus. Long-term care homes Grey Gables and Rockwood Terrace have replaced their push-button door openers. Grey Roots Museum, as part of their funding application, created a museum accessibility plan that the province gave a score of 10 out of 10 on, so we're pretty proud of that. The map of accessible municipal spaces is live on the Grey County website, and links for that are available for the local municipalities also to share. And we've requested representation from each of the local municipalities to check out, to make sure that that map has all of the updates it needs to have, and people can reach out to me to make updates for that map. And we've also added implementation of budget software. So that piece wasn't already in our multi-year accessibility plan. So part of the resolution is to add that to the multi-year accessibility plan, and that we're working toward that project in the next year. So sounds like we've done some work.
Thank you, Kathy, for the update. Yeah, amazing work, actually. Yeah, wonderful. Yes, Ray.
Sounds like I've got a lot of catching up to do. And I assume I can do that on the Grey County website under accessibility.
Yep. And if you have any questions, just reach out, Ray. I'll help you find what you're looking for.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for Kathy? Or any other further comments or questions for her?
She might be sorry that she said just reach out, because I may be there all the time.
That's okay. Questions are great. Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is correspondence. The first is 5A, City of Owen Sound, DA-24-002, site plan approval for 1100 16th Avenue East. And Sabine Robart will be speaking to that. Sarah, do we require a motion?
Through you, Madam Chair, it's my understanding that these items have been provided just for the county's information. So I believe Sabine is on the call if the committee had any comments, questions to share. But I do not believe that any motions are required with regard to these items.
Okay.
Sabine, is that correct? Does that serve your purpose?
Through you, Madam Chair, I can explain quickly how the process works from the city's Owen Sound's perspective, and then I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Absolutely, and I didn't read the other 2 items on the correspondence, so I will leave those 2 items for you as well.
Yeah. So
okay, perfect.
What we've brought to the committee is sort of a standard process for site plan approvals. So these are site-specific developments, and they go through a very thorough review process with the city, including our AODA checklist. So we've developed a checklist based on the AODA standards that we use when we're reviewing our site plans, and that together with sort of a description of the accessibility features of the site is included in the report. And so basically, like I've said, all site plans go through this checklist and are addressed in the report. And so we provide these for your information purposes. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I think you'll see this fairly regularly on your agenda. As site plans are approved in the city, they will come to you for information purposes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sabine. Does anybody have any questions for Sabine or any comments? No? Okay, thank you, Sabine. We really appreciate it. Okay, and the next item on the agenda is correspondence from the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, CNIB, Guide Dog Etiquette 101, and Kathy is going to speak to that.
Thank you, Chair. I received this guide dog etiquette poster from Donald Anderson of the CNIB Foundation. He wanted to highlight that September is Guide Dog Awareness Month, and that each year the CNIB develops resources and programming to help raise awareness about guide dogs, the rights of guide dog handlers, and ways that we can make our communities more accessible and welcoming to guide dog teams. So he is sharing this document with us for that.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next item would be other business. Is there any other business for the agenda? Pamela.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I was just wondering that survey that was sent out by Kathy, that link to the survey. I was just wondering when the results are going to be shared with us, when and if, because I found that very, very interesting. And I hope that the survey does help.
Yes, Kathy, thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. That's a great question, Pam, and I will ask them about the availability of the results from that. And I will send, I'm assuming that everybody's probably going to be interested in that, so I'll send what I find out to the whole group.
Thank you, Pamela. I was going to ask the same question, actually. Yeah. That's great, Kathy. Thank you for that.
Excuse me,
Yes, Ray.
Could you forward that survey to me, or is it passed?
Through you, Chair, I can't remember, Ray, if that deadline has passed or not, but I'll send it to you regardless, and then you'll at least know what's coming down the pipe.
That's great. Thank you. Okay. Just going back to the agenda. So the next meeting has yet to be determined, and I guess unless there's any other items for other business, we are in a position to adjourn. That was a very quick meeting.
Can I add something?
You sure can, Christina.
I haven't seen the CNIB poster yet about guide dogs, but as being the grandparent to one of those, my daughter has one. I think one of the biggest things that people aren't aware of is because service dogs are trained to react to goodies and snacks, etc., that they will eat anything they find. And one of the biggest things we've noticed in the last few years, because they've made it legal, is that her dog has eaten a few weed buds. So like the butt off of people's I don't know what you call them, weed cigarettes. They're not cigarettes, but sorry, that's not my lingo, obviously. You know what I mean now? So when people roll and they smoke, like they smoke weed, we're not butting out in containers or etc., or you're walking down the street and you toss them out. Those dogs are eating them sometimes because they're food driven. And so I'm not sure that's probably on that poster, but there's your fun fact for the day.
Thank you for sharing that, Christina. That's very interesting. I was not aware of that, so thank you.
Can I say something, Esther?
I
wasn't aware of that.
I'm very surprised that they are food driven. My sister trained them from puppies up to a year old, and then they go up to the university and further training. but that would not be part of the training in the first part anyway.
No.
They are not to react to anything around them. And that's why they take them to the library. That's why they take them to church. That's why they take them to all these places, so that they are not scared by loud noises and things like that. And I can't see them being food driven.
They are actually, when they do a task and they do it well, they are actually rewarded with a treat. In order to know that they did that task very well, Lila is rewarded with a dog treat, so that she will keep wanting to do services. And so when Lila accomplishes the task that she's been given, my daughter does feed her a treat, and Lila is very happy to do any more tasks that she's been given in order to earn that reward.
Brooke, you had a comment?
Yeah, I would just like to say that I think some dogs can be food scavengers and stuff, but it's part of training, and I owner train, and I am currently owner training she's been in training since she was 10 weeks old, and she's 18 months now, and never once will she pick up anything because we worked on teaching them not to. And her mother also is my actual service dog right now, and she again will not touch anything. So I think that it's kind of a misunderstanding that it's part of training. Some dogs are a little better at it than others, but it is part of training, and it's definitely not something that should ever be on a poster saying that. So I'm glad that it's not there, because it's not true, or it shouldn't be true. It's not a general statement, because it's training. And it's something that as handlers, I owner train, but I've also had program trained dogs, and it's something that we ourselves need to keep up, whether we're training them from puppyhood or if we're getting them from a program. That's our job, to keep them from scavenging. I've never had a scavenger, because I keep that training very, very strict. And all of my dogs are trained with positive reinforcement.
Great, thank you, Brooke.
I just wanted to clear up that misconception.
Thanks, Brooke. We appreciate it. And Kathy, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the group for the lively discussion. I'm sure Donald Anderson will appreciate that we've spent this amount of time increasing awareness about guide dogs.
Yes, I agree, Kathy. Absolutely. So if there is no other comments, we are in a position to adjourn the meeting. So it was great seeing everybody. I apologize for my start with the agenda, but mistakes happen. And enjoy the rest of your day. And it was great to see everyone. Take care.
Are the meetings scheduled, or when's the next meeting?
Sarah,
Madam Chair. There was intended to be a November meeting of the committee. I believe that due to scheduling conflicts, we will be canceling the November meeting of the committee. And so that brings us into 2025, if you can believe it or not. I will be circulating the proposed meeting dates for next year to the committee members. They follow our kind of typical format at this time. Every a regular interval of months. They're usually held at this time in the afternoons. They're usually held in an electronic format. There will be an opportunity in response to the email that is sent to you to provide some feedback about your availability, any scheduling considerations that you'd like us to be mindful of. And then following that, I will circulate the finalized schedule for next year's meetings. They are anticipated to begin again in January. No, excuse me. Do you remember off the top of your head, Kathy? I believe it was February of 2025 is anticipated to be the next meeting, given the proposed schedule that we're working on. So there's a
Okay.
little break for you now, Ray, to
Yeah.
read up on all of Kathy's materials that she'll be sending you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
that.
Madam Chair.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.